Hi everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to another start to finish video using a load prompt because we are in the midst of load. It happens the entire month of February and also too in May if you're interested in that. And so you will see some of my start to finish videos for the rest of the month and into March using the load prompt because of YouTube upload time, things like that. So today, Alice was talking to us about the Munchkins that was in the movie in Munchkinland and how that all happened and the people that was used to create that and the wonderful actors that were involved with that. Just wonderful. And then it was fun because I actually got to meet a Munchkin one time that was in The Wizard of Oz, and so that was fun. I actually had forgot all about that till Alice brought that up in the video, so that was a nice memory to bring forth. And I don't even know if my little one remembered. I asked her, but she said no, but she was little. So that was fun. And then the story prompt she gave us to do with the Munchkins is to scrapbook a celebration because they absolutely was celebrating in the movie. And then you could use a small embellishment because Munchkins were small, or also use bright, bold colors on your page because the Munchkins were bright, bold, and beautiful. Okay, and so that is how I took it. And so I found some photos, of course, some more Disney photos because that's the box I'm working from, and I'm working on a Festival of the Arts, so it's going to be a 2-page spread. I know, a glutton for punishment here, do a 2-page layout in the load event, but I just roll with it. And then also to the bright bold colors I got it going on here, and I'm going to use a collection today from Bella Boulevard in their Illustrated Faith line because one of my subscribers, KK, yes, I will have her channel linked below, and she just started getting back into doing videos again. So excited about that. She had said, could you show how to use a kids line and perhaps do it for everyday pages? And I really don't have a kid line handy that I want to break up yet and do for every day. However, I thought what I would do is I would show how this Illustrated Faith line can be used for just about any layout you want to do. So I know some people, because it is an Illustrated Faith line through Bella Boulevard, they won't look at it, but I will tell you there's a lot you can do with this collection, especially this one. It is called She Blooms, and of course when I was thinking bright, bold, and beautiful, oh yes, yes, now here it is. Okay, there's that. Okay, now of course it says She Blooms down here. I will probably be covering that up because I'm going to be doing a 2-page layout, and I have one 4x6 and the rest of these are all wallets. And again, this has to do with the Festival of the Arts at the Epcot. And I went around one day, I had the day to myself there at Epcot, and so I took in all the beautiful artwork that the artists were there. Some were there actually working on things. For a creative person, it was just absolutely wonderful. And so I'm going to try to get all of these in, so that would probably be about, I think, 14 wallets, I think, along with this 4x6. I think that's what I'm going to do. And so what I decided after I pulled this collection, I went right to my scrap spin to give me a quick start. And I timed myself when I did the scrap spin, and it took me 4 minutes from the time I asked Siri for 5 numbers and to pick those supplies. So 4 minutes, that's absolutely a quick way to get started. And I will have that video listed below about scrap spin. So I asked Siri for 5 numbers, and what did she give me? Well, she gave me 5 numbers, and one of them was breads. Well, yes, that's a celebration for me right there. Yes, play with my bread. So I decided this time that I was going to break out one of my different bread categories, and I thought I will just show that. Why not? Because yours truly has a lot of breads because it's my favorite thing. I'm going to move my photos here for a minute. And so I have a bigger photo box, and it is nothing but bread packs because I knew at one time that bread packs were getting smaller and smaller as far as the number of bread packs, the number of breads in a pack, and I knew that eventually they would probably be going to the wayside. They haven't completely went to the wayside, but nowadays in a bread pack, you don't normally get breads in a bread pack. And I should have pulled one from the beginning. Well, here's an older one. Okay, so there's 29 pieces. Okay, let's see. But anyways, as breads were getting further in the years, you are getting fewer and fewer breads. At one time, my mind's eye, 32 breads in a pack. Look at this. How many was this one? course, that was Jen. 41. You see what I'm saying? 41, 32, 28, 21. Yeah, they keep getting smaller and smaller nowadays. Yeah, it's a hard price to pay, $6 for a bread pack when you don't get that many breads when you used to. So I am simply going to go through here, and I'm going to pick a bread pack that is definitely bright and bold, beautiful and bold that goes along with those colors. And I think one had stuck out at me. You see what I'm saying? Look at that. Look at all the breads that you get in there. Okay? Just look at that. Ugh, you don't get that anymore. Now here's some summer ones. That the colors really, oh yeah, the colors really work well with that. So I may just simply pick one, and what I use, what I don't. I just love going through these. Yes. Now sometimes, I would say when you are seeing your Black Friday sales and your clearance sales, this is where you can find these bread packs. A lot of these I paid $1.25 a pack. Yes, so you see why I stocked up. $1.25 for a pack of these breads. Look at these. You look at 29 pieces. Yeah, you don't get that nowadays. 29, 28. Yeah, you just don't get that. So again, I'm just looking at these. You see what happened was they started making these die cut pieces bigger, so they would put less breads in. I mean, it's all marketing. I know that. Oh no, look at this. This is bright. Oh, yes, maybe. Again, just looking. I'll just have fun playing with these. But, you know, I'll just pull those two and be done with it. But that was one of the ones that Siri gave me. And I wanted to share another one of my bread boxes. Because I have breads in a bowl. I have breads in an embroidery floss box. You know, and then I have, then this is my third section of breads. Yes, I will never ever give these up. No, so the next thing that Siri told me to pick was a scrapbook generation sketch. And so I went to something I haven't played with for a while, and I picked out this Sketch Magic book. And if you love Disney pages, I highly, highly recommend this. Now, this Sketch Magic by Scrapbook Generations, I'll have the link below. It is not this big. I just have a lot of these sketchbooks, bound together with this arc binding system, and I will be showing that soon in a 15-minute mixer. Love that. And so I'm going to be using, I think, Sketch 14 as a starting point. So I can't show that online, but if you have this book, look at Sketch 14. That's what I will be using. And so then what was the next thing she gave me? Oh, the design of the diagonal or the triangle. So I'm going to have to probably use this, and then maybe my clusters I will do in a triangle or a diagonal design, and then stickers from a binder. Okay, so I have a lot of color going on here. So what I absolutely picked was my sticker binder that's in multicolor, so I would have lots of options, and I will simply just go from that. These right here stuck out at me, and this is only on page 2 or 3. So I may just do something as simple as that. But again, I have lots of options. So there's my die cuts. And then I go right into chipboard. You know, it'd be fun to get some chipboard in there. See what I'm saying? So, oh, Another Day, Another Dream. Oh, that's cute. See, things like that. Any of these will be fine because I have a lot of color in my photos. I'm going to have some bright, bold colors in my papers. So anything I pick will be fine. So what I'm doing is just limiting the supplies I have in my space to my left and to my right. And that is what Scrap Spin is all about. Making faster choices so you have more time to scrapbook. Okay, now I asked Siri for one more thing. And what do you think she gave me? A scoreboard. Yes. Talk about using supplies. That is it. Scoreboard. So I grabbed my Martha Stewart scoreboard. I only have one. And this has been so worth the money. And it paid for itself after a couple times making cards. So how am I going to use a scoreboard on a scrapbook page? Well, you come back and I will show you. And then the other thing is that I needed a title because in the Illustrated Faith line, and this is a collection pack, so there is some stickers here. And so I could use them, okay? And since I have so much pink, this totally will work. Maybe I will do that. But since the prompt was to celebrate, I thought of these Girl Squad thickers that had celebrate. So maybe I will just use that as a subtitle. I just wanted to pull that. And then I saw the word inspire. Because this is the Festival of the Arts. Inspire, yes. And then because I thought if I pull one of these in, I'm going to need some black. So I went ahead and pulled my lump and my bump in my black. And we'll see what we play with. And so that was one thing I wanted to say that even though I picked 5 things for my scrap spin list, I can pick whatever else I want. Just make quick decisions. And of course, with all these items, 4 minutes from start to finish picking them. That's how quick it is, especially when you organize according to how you scrap. Can't say that enough. Yes. Yes, yes. Okay, so I will come back and I will be playing with this Bella Boulevard, because KK had challenged me to do something that is not basically on theme. So I'm going to use a faith line for Disney page. And what else? Using a Scrapbook Generation sketch, using some brads. Yes, we're going to celebrate and use the scoreboard. We got it all going on. So come back and I'll have a finished 2-page spread using the load prompt of the beautiful little munchkins. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm back with my finished 2-page spread celebrating the Festival of the Arts at Epcot. And of course, I was using a load prompt to use bright, bold colors and to celebrate. And I got both of those on there because my papers are very, very bright. Now, if you'll notice that I have 13 photos on a 2-page spread. Love that. Sign me up. Yes, love that. I have 5 here and 8 here on the right. And then also, too, if you look at the bare bones design, I have 1 piece of paper here and 1 piece of paper here on the right. That is all I used for this layout, was 2 pieces of paper, and they didn't even match. Yes, that's like soy sauce on a wonton. Yes, can't get any better than that. And so, of course, I used this Bella Boulevard Illustrated Faith She Blooms line. And, of course, I used it. You know, that's faith-based, but I used it for Disney. Yes, love how that turned out. And, of course, this floral here on the left is so bright and bold. I didn't really need much else here other than a coordinating color here on the right. And so when I cut this down, I cut about less than 3/4 of an inch on 2 sides. I took those remnants and I put them here down at the bottom to give me a little bit of base here. And then on the right, this yellow dot, I cut it down to about 11 by 11, and I used a little bit of that remnant here. Of course, just gave it a decorative fishtail there using my hexagon punch, and I'll talk about that just in a minute. And so then you'll see that I simply just have a block of paper here and a block of paper here, and they're just in 2 different patterns and 2 different sizes, and that is how simple my bare bones design is, because I wanted to use these photos. I wanted to get 13 photos on there. And so sometimes when you're doing a 2-page layout and you have a multi photos, it comes down to a heavy design paper, heavy design layout, or you're going to do a heavy amount of photos. And for me, sometimes the photos will win. I don't worry about the design. But using papers and patterns of such a bright, bold design and color, that does all the work for you. It looks like a complicated page, but it's just 2 pieces of paper. That's all it is. And of course, I did use that thicker font set from Girl Squad, and I used 4 of those to make subtitles, and then those subtitles are basically my clusters. And of course, you know, one of my scrap supply was to use a diagonal or a triangle. So basically I just did my clusters in a diagonal flow, because it's a 2-page spread. I don't need a visual triangle on each page. That's how you can speed your time up doing a 2-page layout, is just do one here, 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 and here. That gives your eye a flow. And then also, you don't have to have a visual triangle. You just need a flow when you're doing a 2-page layout. And so then also, if you will notice that with my photos, they all have a mat, and basically all of them have a white mat, and then I have 2 that have a black mat. So what I did was, the photos on my layout that had to do with the artwork that I saw that day, they were on a white mat, and then the 2 signs, or what do we want to say, advertising at Epcot about the Festival of the Arts, they were in black. They weren't actual artwork. And so then what I did was, because, you know, I had to get the scoreboard on here, that was one of my scrap supply, what I did was, on these photos, and you'll probably see it better in the close-ups at the end, is that I would take this photo, and each one of my photos were just cut down to the size I wanted. They're not the same measurements. And then I created a wider white mat than normal to accommodate for some embossing using my scoreboard. So what I did was, I took my scoreboard, and of course just say this is my mat. Of course this is a bigger size. And then I use a stylus here that has a ball at the end. I don't care for the one that came with the Martha Stewart scoreboard. I think because this tip is so big, I think it seems to want to tear my paper a little bit quicker than just using this little ball stylus. This was way back in the day. Remember those metal stencil plates? Yeah, that's what that's for. And so then I would just use this first gully here in the scoreboard, and I just scored. And then when I ran my scored lines, I did them twice to give me a more pronounced embossed, if you look on that. And I'll have a close-up at the end. And so all I did was take a mat, and then I created a frame for each one of those pieces of artwork. Didn't that turn out nice? Now this is something I would have never came up on my own if it wouldn't have been for Scrapspin. I just wouldn't have thought to pull out a scoreboard to play with this layout. But I do this a lot when I'm making simple cards, and I thought, well, why not put it and use it for mats? And so each one of my pieces of artwork here has that embossed frame mat. And then also too, on the left and the right, on the very, very perimeter of this 12 by 12 background, I did that same embossed line using my scoreboard. How simple is that? Yes. So my layout in and of itself is in an embossed frame. Love how that translated to that. Okay, so then of course I got to play with my brads. I never say no to that. And I put brads in each one of these clusters. And because my photos and my overall layout is so blocky and so square-like, I made sure to do the brads in the addition, with the addition of enamel dots, because then the circular shape of the brads and the enamel dots help break up everything being so square and blocky. So that's one way to do that. And then I also used some Amy Tangerine stickers, and then some other things, or other stickers from my sticker binder. That was one of my Scrapspin supplies. Yes. Now I did use a Scrapbook Generation sketch to look at, and I cut my paper down, and then after that I didn't even look at the sketch. It just wasn't what I needed, but it definitely was the springboard to get started. And sometimes if you pull out a sketch and you do one cut and you don't look at it ever again, then that's what the purpose of the sketch was for, just that springboard. Yes, absolutely. Now I do not have a lot of supplies because the use of pattern paper and color, that is my supply. And I just, again, added some brads, enamel dots, and word stickers, and that's all I basically did. Now, I do have some leftover photos, and I will put the date on the back, and they will go in my leftover bin. And then, because I have another layout coming up sometime about the Festival of the Arts, so I probably will use those in that. And then I have my journaling here, and my journaling will go here on the right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to absolutely put it here where it's going to connect to all three of these photos. So then it will make it look like it's there on purpose rather than just floating in the air. Okay, so I'm definitely going to connect that. And so then also I gave this a fishtail. And how I do my fishtails really quick is that I use the point of a hexagon punch. I put that in there and I center it, and I can't really see what I'm doing. And then there you go. You get that fishtail. So I use my hexagon punches for that. That's an old school technique. And so that's a quick way to do that. Yes. And if you don't really like how it's lined up, you can just stick it back in there. Of course, I've had to film this a couple times, so I'm really getting down. But this is just my my film version of my journaling. Okay, my real version goes on after I'm done. And so then you see how you can just keep making that point till you get what you like. Perfect, perfect. And then also too, because I can connect my journaling with my photos, I wanted to point out that when I'm doing my clusters, you can see that all of these elements down here are connecting, so this whole entire cluster looks like one piece. And I do that on purpose because then it just looks like it's more of the layout than things just floating here, there, and everywhere. It looks like everything was done on purpose because everything was done on purpose. So you see how the sticker touches the title touches the die cut touches the photo, and then the brads and enamel dots and this sticker, and then connected to this border piece here at the end. Again, all connecting because I wanted it to be connecting. Okay, so that is how quick this 2-page layout came together. I spent more time probably fighting with the word celebrate on this thicker sheet why I had so much trouble getting that off of there. Boy, that was a doozy. And then of course, you know, cutting down these mats, because all of these photos are different sizes, because I have no trouble cutting out anything or anyone that has nothing to do with my story. No, I wanted to get these photos on there. So yes, 13 photos. And again, everything is, it looks busy and it looks complicated, but it's really just a few amount of supplies. It's just using that bold, bright color. It really makes a difference on your page. Yes, and of course, you know, in my photos, there's a lot of color, so why not put a lot of color in the background to make it all look like one story? Yes. Okay, so that is my 2-page layout. Love how it turned out, and of course, you know, I have a hidden Mickey on there, so if you look at the close-ups at the end, you'll see my hidden Mickey. Yes, absolutely. Okay, that's all I have for today. Come back to RTS because you never know. We're gonna learn. Bye.